Marcel, where are you going with that disc? You are not putting that on again. Marcel, okay, if you press that button, you are in very, very big trouble.
Attention. Everybody stop what you're doing. It's time for The Unwritten Rule, a Mizzou sports podcast brought to you by the Believe Network, alongside Payton Haverman and Kenny Van Doren. Here is your host, Jack Knowlton.
Welcome back to The Unwritten Rule presented by FanDuel. Today is Friday, December 19th, and it is silly season, and Mizzou football will have a new starting quarterback next season, official. They know who their QB1 is in the bowl game, too, given Mr. Drinkwitz's recent X post. We're going to talk. I have some stuff. We obviously haven't been able to record since the Drinkwitz presser. Explosive feels a little bit maybe hyperbole, but he had a lot to say at that presser, and I'll have some stuff from that later on. But we had come into this show intending to talk transfers a little bit. We each brought a couple of position groups that we kind of wanted to evaluate for Mizzou heading into next season. Looking at, how they maybe need to approach them in the transfer portal. And so we were going to do that. We were going to spin a wheel. Kenny, I loved your wheel idea. However, I think it is pertinent to probably start with the most important position on the gridiron, and that is quarterback. Given the fact now, gents, that Beau Pribula is back in the portal. I'll just start with this real quick. Did this surprise either of you to see this news here? We're recording on Thursday when it broke.
No, not really. I was getting a little antsy. I kind of expected it to happen faster. I'm not that surprised just because it really, I don't think, worked out how anyone involved really wanted it to. Very fun first few games of the year, but I mean, once conference play hit, he just wasn't an SEC caliber quarterback. I think that much was apparent. I'm not trying to be mean to the kid. Just sometimes it becomes kind of clear. I mean, I think he had a total of 3 touchdown passes in SEC games this year. I mean, that's just not going to be good enough. Especially when you have the running game Missouri had this year. The quarterback really has to do the bare minimum for this to probably be a playoff caliber team. But they just got completely nothing out of their passing game for most of the year. And unfortunately, Beau was the starter for 10 of those games, so he's going to bear most of the blame. I didn't see a world where Missouri could come back next year with Beau Pribula as the starter, at least not without a serious competition. So yeah, I don't think Beau was going to be here either without being guaranteed starter, and I just don't think there was a way Missouri could guarantee that. I don't have any ill will towards Beau, but I simply think it became apparent he wasn't going to be a quarterback that could bring them to the college football playoff, and it just seems like kind of the best for everyone to move on.
I'm with you, Payton. Probably not much ill will from either side. I think it was just kind of best to just move in different directions. I thought Drinkwitz's post was kind of funny, just the timing of it, just putting all of his trust in the mat. And I brought this up on another podcast that this will be the first quarterback that signed out of high school for Drinkwitz, so will make probably the biggest impact. He was hoping for that with Sam Horn for a long time, but 2 injuries sidelined him for 2 entire seasons. Only played 1 snap this year. But this will be the first time that he can actually see one of his own high school quarterbacks go out there and try to steer the future of this offense. And I think that's going to be a lot of the talk going into this bowl game as well on December 27th. 9 days from now, from when we're recording this. I don't know how much preparation maybe had changed, because I think, in the back of my mind, I was wondering if Beau would stay with Missouri through the bowl game and then enter the transfer portal, just see how things go in the Gator Bowl, not from the perspective of, is he going to come back to Missouri, but you get another round of tape. But the Arkansas game wasn't the best passing wise conditions. It sucked, but with the rain and the cold, really offered a lot of attack on the ground game, which Mizzou did really well on in multiple categories. So I did wonder about that, if he would take his decision through there, kind of gets it out of the way early. I'm sure there's going to be, a handful of Power 4 teams still interested, even, high group of sixes. I know there's been like some, connections thrown out there. A lot of Penn State is in Virginia Tech now. He knows the offensive coordinator, or knows the head coach at Washington State really well, and Kirby Moore. And, even Penn State might be looking for a quarterback too. So, I mean, there's always going to be some good connections out there for him. And I think I think a lot of people kind of understood it too, from the fan base perspective, Peyton, that, it was probably for both sides' best interest to kind of move in opposite directions.
Yeah, I'm with you too. I wasn't shocked by this news. And Kenny, I mean, Eli Drinkwitz said that straight out, that some guys he was like might transfer after the bowl game, but he has been open about that. He's fine with players sticking it out through then. But yeah, I mean, quarterbacks especially. I mean, Beau Pribula went through this pretty openly, right? Last year when he transferred to Missouri, was that the timing is everything. He couldn't wait for Penn State's playoff run to be over. And that created a whole thing because he had to get in the portal because he needed to find a job. Otherwise they would have all been taken up. So it's not shocking that, maybe he had to kind of do it now and start looking for his next destination. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I think was our colleague Max Chadwick had a quote about him that I know we reposted. And yeah, the on the PFF graphic, they had Virginia Tech, Penn State, and Wazoo, some obvious connections there. So we'll see where Beau Pribula ends up. I wish him the best of luck. Payton summed it up well. It was a struggle bus a little bit in the passing game in the back half of the season, and I think it was pretty obvious Missouri was going to go in a different direction next year. They're going to go in the direction of Matt Zollers for the bowl game. With that in mind, fellas, which one of you, or did either of you bring quarterbacks to the fold for our positions to evaluate, or are we just going to have to do this as a collective? It's it's an interesting room now next year for Mizzou.
Well, it was on my too deep.
Okay.
Because I mean, it's the most important position in sports. Now, look, there is definitely a part of me that's okay with them rolling with Zollers in the next year. I mean, he's really the big meal ticket guy. I mean, Drinkwitz flat out said a few weeks ago, like before the A&M start, I think, or around that time, like that he thinks Zollers is the future of the program. So he's a guy that no matter what they do in the portal at QB, I think you have to do it with Zollers in mind. It definitely, I don't see them going after someone that you think could be back multiple years. Like, I know Raiola is a guy that has 2 years left, but realistically, you're not, I think, looking at him as any longer than a year-long relationship. I think it's a position that Drinkwitz has really struggled to get right most of the time. I mean, Brady Cook gave them pretty big stability and downright great play in 23, but it was kind of by accident. I mean, if it was Drinkwitz's fault, or Drinkwitz's if Drinkwitz had his way, I mean, Brady Cook would not have been the starter in, I think, 22 or 23. I think he tried to replace him both years. I can't remember in 23 specifically who would have been brought in. But I know, like, obviously the infamous JT Daniels, Jaden Daniels, and Jerry Bohannon cycle. I mean, they went 0 for 3 there. Maybe they didn't try to replace him as hard as I remember in 23, because I can't think of any names, but or there was the Keaton Slovis rumor that popped up briefly, but I mean, when it comes to the portal, Drinkwitz has really not done too well. I mean, even this past cycle, Pribula was a guy a lot of people wanted, including Missouri. I think he became one of Missouri's top choices when he entered, but they wanted Miller Moss. I mean, Fernando Mendoza, that was someone who was linked to Missouri a lot. And you've seen what Fernando Mendoza went on to do. It's just been something Drinkwitz hasn't proven he's been able to do. So even from an optics perspective, I mean, getting a big name out of the portal would just be a welcome addition at a certain point. But again, I think last year was a year you really, really had to get a transfer portal in. I still would probably go after a big fish in the portal this year, but Zollers definitely complicates the equation, and we'll see like what the bowl game does for him. I mean, the Armed Forces Bowl was kind of an audition for Brady Cook, so maybe the Gator Bowl can be something like that for Zollers.
It's a good complication to have. I think from the future of the quarterback position next year, I think you have to get 2 quarterbacks in the portal, and that was really shown this year. Unless they're going to unless they're going to target someone who hasn't signed yet in the 2026 class to get another scholarship guy, you need 2 more scholarship quarterbacks, and that was apparent this year. You brought back Brett Brown as an experienced walk-on depth, but you need more scholarship guys in the room. There's a reason they targeted Rocco Marriott, who ended up at UCF in the 2026 class to join Gavin Sidwar at Missouri, because they just ran into issues of depth and due to injuries, and with Sam Horn going down, then Beau Pribula going down, and you're down to just a freshman quarterback with walk-ons as your backups. It's not a spot they want to be in next year. So I think, like you're talking about Payton with a big fish and a guy that can come in and play right away. If you don't land, the transfer from Cincinnati, escapes my name, Sorsby. It's like the links to Texas Tech, and then you have the Rayolas of the world, who has, probably a lot of suitors too. It would, be in the right case for Missouri to go out there and get a guy that can compete for that starting job, if not take it from Zollers, because we've seen the quarterback competitions a lot, but also probably best to try to find a Drew Pine, a guy that's probably started around, the group of 5 level or power 4 level, group of 6, excuse me, and put him in that competition as well, or just put him in that quarterback room, because for Missouri next year, you're going to need at least 2 more scholarship quarterbacks.
Yeah, I think the other like weird, wrinkle with all that is, I mean, and Kenny, you guys talked about it I listened to the beginning of your podcast with Kyle, but I mean, Sam Horn cannot be back. We don't think next year.
I don't think there's any world where he's back.
Yeah. And so I think Kenny's spot on. I think you have to go get 2, regardless of, who you end up rolling the dice on, whether it's Zollers or if you bring a guy that comes in to compete with him, and then just somebody else who, is at the worst like a Drew Pine, who can go out and will be competent and comfortable enough in a game and in a big game. Drew Pine probably ended up doing a little bit more than even we thought with how that the Oklahoma game ended up shaking out. But I think Kenny's right. I think this is going to be a heavily watched position in terms of some names, and it's still early. You guys mentioned a few. I will tell you, it's fun scrolling through the quarterback on 3 transfer portal and who's entered, knowing your team needs a quarterback, and just kind of pondering. You scroll past DJ Lagway, and then there's AJ Swan, who I did not even realize was still around and is in the portal from App State. Like, there's some good names, but I think you two are spot on. I don't know if you guys have anything else. We could segue to another position or spin the wheel if we want. But if you guys have anything else on the quarterbacks, I haven't seen. You guys, I think, said all the names I've at least heard of kind of emerging early, but I think it's definitely going to be sort of a rumor mill. And I think Kenny's right. They're going to have to bring in 2.
We'll also have to see. I mean, we don't know the OC hire yet. I think Drinkwitz said something about him not hiring one until after the bowl game. But that's got to be done before the portal opens, 100%, because you got to get your OC's feedback on who he views as a fit at quarterback as well before you go into the portal. You have to have that plan ready to execute the second it opens on January 2nd.
Yeah, well, and he was explicit about that too in that press conference. He was saying like exactly what you said, Payton, where we've had so much success running the ball. We've had 3 of the last 5 years. They've had a Doak Walker finalist. They've turned some O-linemen into All-Americans. He wants a guy who can come in and execute his team's passing game in terms of the OC. So he was pretty explicit about that hire. So we'll see how it all pans together. Kenny, do you want to spin the wheel? I feel bad seeing that wheel. I think we need to use it.
Yeah, I'll pull it up. All right. I guess this could be just who goes first, unless the person who wins wants to choose if they go last.
It's like deferring. I'm going to defer to the second half. So we have other positions we're going to look for. Ooh.
Jack Knowlton will be first.
First time ever.
You know, yeah. Wow, rare dub. This is what cheering for the wheel does for you.
All right, I'm last. Awesome.
I like the sound effects too. Nice.
Congrats, Kenny.
So,
why didn't you spin it?
I didn't spin it again.
You want me to spin your name?
No, you don't have to. Yeah, I did kind of want it to spin.
We can spin it in quick hits. The room I went to first, fellas, and I'm curious to see if you guys maybe put the same one, because like Payton said, we were each trying to bring two, make sure we didn't cross-examine, but maybe it'll be good that we did. I took a look at the.
I don't think that's how you use cross-examined.
I said what I said. I did the secondary. I threw corners and safeties into it, but that is the position I'll go with. So looking at it, I wrote down just kind of a bunch of names. They only had one guy who's expected to transfer as of right now in the secondary, and that is a Caleb Flagg, who did not hardly at all. I think wasn't that even was that a during the season thing?
Yeah,
it was like after the fourth game.
Yeah. So that was a during the season thing. So that one's been known. In terms of departures, this is a room that's going to lose a ton of really good players for eligibility. Stephen Hall is gone. Toriano Pride is gone. Dre Norwood is gone. Jalen Catalan is gone. And Dalen Carnell is gone. And if you kind of glean off the depth chart, that's two of Missouri's top corners. That's their starting guy at nickel and their one of their starting safeties. So a lot to kind of replace there. I feel like particularly at the corner position, I was kind of going through it with the returners, and right now, like just basing it on the pure snap count, this was the depth chart I came up with for the starting corners. So if you do the left and right corners, it would be Nick DeLoach and Cameron Keys as of right now. They're the most experienced returning corners. They played 4 games apiece. Safety, it's a little bit better. They have Marvin Burks coming back and Santana Banner. Santana Banner, second on this team in tackles last year, 51. Kenny, I know, has been saying all year long. He said,
there you go, Kenny.
Couple interceptions between those guys. And then right now, the nickel, I kind of went off our lads for this one. They had Mose Phillips as Dalen Carnell's backup. I don't know if he'd actually play there, but I slid him in there for right now.
He played a lot more at the end of the season. His snap count went up. But he also was... Go ahead.
I was going to say, during UMass, I remember texting Kenny like, oh my gosh, like he's out here in the fourth quarter with like Cameron Keys and like CJ Bass. I remember I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, it's a little bit different to see that, I guess. And maybe it was because it's such a deeper safety room with how many options you have. But he had 2 years of eligibility remaining. You'd think that he wouldn't probably be among those guys who would play late into games. But Kyle did point out to me that he has played a lot. I can pull up his snaps too here.
He did. Yeah, I think it was. I know he played in 7 games. It was over 100. I think he eclipsed the 100 snap count when I was looking yesterday. 5 tackles, a pass deflection. He had a forced fumble too last year, so he kind of had some late season production. And then depth wise, it's not much. Corner, the only other 2 I didn't mention are Shamar McNeil and Mark Manfred, and then they signed Ahmad Billins and Jackson Gates. Trajan Greco, CJ Bass, Jackson Hancock are listed as safeties, some other guys in there. So this feels like how high of a need do you think this ranks for you guys in terms of, I think corner in particular feels like something this team's got to target. And I do have some names that I can bring up after we discuss that, but
corner is one. I mean, Drinkwitz even kind of accidentally said it in like his national signing day presser, I believe, like where he said we're gonna go after corners, and then he like had to clarify himself or whatever. Yeah, you can't go into this season with Nick DeLoach, Shamar McNeil, and Cameron Keys being your top 3. I'd love for at least one of those guys to become a real contributor next year, and show that, high school can still give you something. But it's you got to take at least 2 there. I think that's just too thin and just not one guy who I can confidently say I trust. I mean, Nick DeLoach's starter experience, it's not very good starter experience, and he was completely like shuffled out this year.
That was always a weird one to me too. Payton, is that you thought maybe he would see some kind of role, but it was like they just rolled with three corners again, and he got pushed out. He went from competing for starting snaps and taking starts away from Toriano Pride to not even seeing the field as a cornerback anymore. And we have 1 year of eligibility remaining. There's no word on, or sorry, 2 more years of eligibility remaining. No really word on his future, but it would be kind of a cool story if he can kind of find himself back into that role of being one of those three cornerbacks and possibly being that third one when you bring in two guys. When you talk about, top priorities, I said this before, the quarterback spot opened with Beau Pribula entering the portal. I thought cornerback was up there with like 1A, 1B. I mean, it is such a position that they need to find guys. I think you find guys with multiple years of eligibility too. That was something that Missouri wanted in the spring portal. They tried to do it a little bit to, they had some guys on campus trying to find another guy to come in there, probably as a redshirt freshman that can just sit in the room and take that step forward, because Mizzou's cornerback room has kind of had an issue with transfers coming in and not really making that positive impact right away. And I think that was like the case with Toriano Pride, is that it took him a year, and that by the end of his last year with Missouri in 2025, he was much better than first year when he came over from Clemson. And I think that could be the case for Missouri. If you get some guys with multiple years of eligibility, you might have opportunity to have to maybe 2 years out of these guys. That it's a little bit better in that defense rather than maybe having those hiccups in just 1 year.
Yeah, I mean, that even was the story. I mean, Chris Abrams-Drain and Ennis Rakestraw were great, but those, that took time too to get to the level that they kind of reached by the end of their careers. That's sort of been the story, I think, with that room. Do you guys want to hear some names? You two are going to be more gleaned into the names if Mizzou's been linked to anybody than me, and you can throw those in there. But I just was purely going. I went on the On3 transfer portal. I was looking up names. I was trying to find some Missouri connections myself. Most of them are just that Missouri offered the kid in high school, but I do have a few fun ones. And if these are completely unrealistic, you can just tell me. But I figured it's early enough that everybody can maybe be on the table. The two that stood out that I found legit kind of Missouri connections. One of them is Kansas State corner Donovan McIntosh. He is from St. Louis, so you would assume some maybe links come from there. And then the other guy had a productive year at South Florida last year. His name's Jarvis Lee. Like 40-something odd tackles. He had like an 89 coverage grade on PFF. Peyton's chuckling, so I've clearly
Sorry.
put it. Is he going to go to like Alabama?
Jarvis, and I think of that Tony Stark image.
Oh, okay. Well, good.
Continue. I have a couple names as well.
Those were the two I found. I found somewhere that I think Missouri was like interested when he was a recruit. So not even just an offer. So that was the best I could come there. And he had some pretty good numbers behind him. Other guys Mizzou I saw offered at least in high school. Bo Masco from Rutgers, Kendall Dolby from Oklahoma, Jay Crawford from Auburn, and Jabril Rawls from Florida State. This is the most fun name I have. It's at safety. His name is Jalen B. Lee. Now, he has to go by Jalen B. Lee because there is another Jalen Lee on his team spelled the exact same way. So he has to go by Jalen B. Lee. He plays for South Dakota State and also like a coverage grade in the high 80s, 62 tackles, 1 forced fumble, 3 picks last year for South Dakota State as a junior from Wentzville, Missouri. So that's my last fun name. If you have
very
others,
nice,
feel free to add them. That was the most fun part of my research. I was enjoying my half-assed digging for clues.
It's a good list. I mean, it's logical that you'd see like the Kansas State guy who's from St. Louis in particular, like the local connections. A couple I just I thought of two, and they're really not creative at all. But Jake Crawford from Auburn. Yes, I know. Real hot take. Missouri should go after a corner that I believe won 2024 SEC Freshman of the Year. But throw your name in the ring at least. Throw your hat in the ring in the at least. I mean, also Daniel Harris from Georgia. I believe a couple Mizzou staffers follow him, so that might be one to at least keep an eye on. So
That's the research we like. Search through the Twitter following. It's good. All right, that's all I had on the DBs. If we want to spin for another position, unless Kenny, you have any other names you want to throw in the ring? Sorry, this is our unofficial short list.
I don't think safety will be a position that gets totally like hammered home. Maybe that they add one or two guys, but I think they're in a good spot with safety. Santana Banner did take a step forward. If Mose Phillips uptick in snaps and being a guy with 1 year of eligibility remaining, if he sticks around, maybe there's an opportunity for him to see stuff. Trajan Greco has been a guy that's played a good amount the last 2 years. Does he step up with Marvin Burks in his final year of eligibility? I think there's a lot of good depth at that safety position right now, and maybe we'll see one guy added, one or two.
Yeah, I think it's like that nickel spot, if anywhere. But yeah. Marvin Burks and Banner, like when you think about next year, that feels pretty good coming back. I think you're right.
I think Banner would be that star.
Okay,
would take over that. He got a lot of rave reviews in fall camp for his ability just to hit people. They were kind of telling him they needed to tone it back a little bit. Drinkwitz was kind of joking about it, but he seems like a guy who's not afraid of contact. If you guys remember too, we brought it up on the show recently. When Caden Proctor was trying to run in that touchdown against Mizzou. I believe it was Banner who got hit and put on the ground when he tried to take him down.
Well,
I think it was Jalen Marshall who ended up bringing him to the ground. Payton said that kind of saved Mizzou. Okay. Mine, I was kind of expecting to go last, so I'm sure Payton, maybe you'll talk about something that actually matters. I think punter is going to be a big one. I mean, it definitely is. I mean, I just wanted to kind of talk about special teams. I had some numbers for you guys on December 10th. So this is right around the season ending with the conference play as well. According to ESPN's SP Plus, Missouri finished 17th as a team. Where do you guys think Missouri finished in special teams?
So on offense, they were 17th.
No, just as a team, 17th.
Sorry, as a team as a whole, they finished 17th. 134.
119.
You're closer, Payton. It's 108.
Sorry, there's only 133 teams, isn't there?
Yeah, I don't think like Missouri necessarily lost any games this season due to special teams. Like I can't really pinpoint a single play that's the reason they lost any of those games. There were lapses on the offense this year that didn't put Missouri in the best spot to win it when the defense was probably keeping a little closer than you expected. But with, maybe possibly like an overhaul of the plan of it. I'm not saying like, Eric Link would get fired, but, it's going to be something that they look into a lot this offseason is trying to improve special teams. It's usually a phase that you don't want to hear anything about. You don't want to know the punter's name. You don't want to know the kicker's name. But I guess in Missouri's case, the last couple of years, they've had some pretty notable kickers, especially with, Harrison Mevis and Blake Craig coming back. I think at long snapper and kicker, you're in good spots. There's a lot of depth there. Maybe add some more bodies to the room with that uptick in scholarship counts. Maybe there is an opportunity to just add maybe one or two walk-ons, but you have 3 long snappers on the roster. You have a couple of kickers. I thought Oliver Robbins really showed you a lot as a guy that could be, a kickoff guy. He's a very reliable backup kicker. I honestly wonder if he even improved his stock just for other schools too, just with, how reliable he was at the end of the year. If Robert Meyer returns, will there be some improvements kind of sitting behind Blake Craig for a full year? Once Blake is back from his ACL injury. But I think punter will definitely be one that Missouri will go all in at. There's some guys out there that have connections to Missouri, connections to Eric Link, but this is going to be one that Missouri really has to hit home. I thought this was a funny thing as well. I don't know if you guys saw this, but the former long snapper for South Carolina called out Drinkwitz.
Oh, yes.
I did see that. Yep.
And so I thought about this too. I brought it up with Kyle on the Mizzou Today show. Everything kind of goes back to South Carolina in some capacity, especially on special teams. The kicker a couple years ago, Peyton, you're going to have to help me with his name.
Parker
White. He called out Missouri for not winning a bowl game in the same year that Missouri beat South Carolina for the Mayor's Cup. But the response from Hunter Rogers, and this was a video of Drinkwitz talking about the issues with the current college football state and having, tampering and trying to go out there and try to find players and build your rosters. He said, you can't say that and then go offer our punter crazy money. Don't really know exactly which punter he's talking about. There's a couple on the roster at that time. Mason Love and then Kai Kroger. Kai Kroger was all SEC member, All-American in 2022 and a second team All-American in 2024. So they had, of course it is Shane Beamer. He has good special teams units, probably had some good punters, some good specialists at that time, but thought I'd bring that up as well. I don't really agree with Rogers' response in that. I think Drinkwitz was pointing out the issues, but do you think he's not going to take advantage of, the current state of college football as well? It's like one of those hate the player or hate the game, not the player. And I think that's kind of the best way to kind of wrap that up. But punter will be one. I don't have any names for you, but that is going to be one that they have to hit home. They can't get a backup, and that's no slouch on Connor Wesselman, up and down season just from the punting spot. But you have to be able to go out and get a real contributor, someone who has experience.
Agreed. That was not going to be one I brought up, but I'm glad it was at least. I'm glad it was brought up. Because it is a position they have not gotten right since 2021 or whatever McKinnis's last year was. You had Stonehouse in 2022, who actually turned out to be a good punter, but you for some reason chased away. And also he looked bad at Missouri, probably because he was not coached well. In 2023, it was Riley Williams and Luke Bauer. They swapped back to Riley Williams in the Cotton Bowl, I remember, and maybe the last game of the year in Florida. Just a mess. 24, Bauer was the guy, but it wasn't very pretty. And 2025, Kenny just mentioned, Wesselman was very up and down, and it was a lot of down. So, yeah, I would be in favor of maybe whatever special teams coordinator, if they make a switch there, they bring in, can bring a punter with them. We'll see what happens there, but it certainly would behoove Missouri to you like that, Kenny? I saw you smirk a little. It would behoove Missouri to get an actual real a guy that can make a little bit of a difference at punter rather than just these guys.
Just Jags.
That's the best way to put it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It was just that you ended that very abruptly. It caught me off guard for a second. There are on On3's transfer portal, there are 3 guys that are expected to enter from a total of 2 schools. It's 2 Minnesota punters and a Wisconsin punter. So one rivalry, 3 punters, 1 conference, 3 punters. I think that list will grow a little bit, but I'm living on this site. I'm going to start just looking at some of these guys and try to figure out their backstories. I'm going to make a short list. Payton, what position do you want to bring to the table?
This would have actually been the position I brought up first overall. Corner, I do think, is a bigger need, but I think this is more worth talking about, especially after some of the defections the last few days. I think wide receiver now has to be completely revamped. You lost Josh Manning, which we'll talk about a little more in quick hits, which was, to me, was a bit of a surprise. I thought he was a guy that would come back. He became a starter by the end of the year. The numbers don't jump off the screen at you, but I think we kind of can guess as to why. And Marquise Johnson just left. That one was expected, I think. But, now you're looking at a situation where your wide receiver 1 next year, as of now, would be Donovan Olubide. And then it's a lot of question marks. Daniel Blood maybe could be in the mix. Who knows? He might transfer. He might not. He feels like a guy that's been destined to transfer for a while now, but we've said the same thing about Tavoris Jones the last few years, and here Tavoris Jones is still around. I think that after Olubide, and even Olubide isn't a sure thing. Olubide was great. I think he will be very good. We're still talking about a true freshman here. After that, it's complete question marks. You have Sean Terry, Demarion Folks waiting in the wings, but Folks is very short. He's not a guy that's going to be, I think, more than a slot receiver type. He's more of a special teams contributor, it seems like. So that's a position I think Missouri is going to have to hit pretty hard. I have no names to bring up for that. That's going to be something we're going to have to see in the portal. But yeah, certainly something I think that bears watching, because I mean, they have Jabari Brady coming in at receiver as a freshman, Davian Hill Lomax. I don't think those are guys you'd count on coming in and being instant contributors like Alubades. So I think it's being kind of undersold as a pretty big need. I think Jacob Peeler's going to have his work cut out for him here.
Where does Theo Wees rank for you guys in the impact transfers in the Drinkwitz area? Is he top 3?
Man, that's a great
Hardy. You could throw Trost up there now.
Trost isn't above Wees.
2?
That's a great question. This would be a good Ken Sports Shorts.
It would,
honestly.
I just think
I think Wees has to be top 3 at worst. I think Hardy's 1.
I asked that because
Green 2.
Who
was it?
Hayden Green 2.
Green could be up there. Yeah. I mean, he's been great for 2 years now.
I asked that because that's only, it's been, Luther Burden was
Trotter.
obviously. Oh, Trotter was a good one. Yeah.
I would probably still have Weiss above
Wilson.
Trotter right now.
Yeah, it's hard to do a one-year guy. Like if Trotter does leave for the NFL.
Zion Young is probably in the mix, but I don't think he's above Weiss. Yeah, that's a great question, honestly.
I ask it too because you had Luther Burden, and that's Drinkwitz's biggest recruiting win, and that solidified your wide receiver 1 for a number of years. And then you went out and you brought the perfect complementary piece for that in the portal, and you went out and got a high profile guy, a former 5-star who was playing, albeit sparingly at another Power 5 school, a rival. So, I say that to say, I hope the expectations for landing, another big time receiver like that are pretty high, especially when you factor in what we were just talking about with how Drinkwitz wants to enhance the pass game more. Good way to help your quarterbacks by bringing in some good guys to throw the ball to. I realize I'm saying obvious stuff here, but you've seen them, have a top 3 impact transfer at the receiver position. I think you're right, Payton. They should be swinging for that. I think this time around.
I agree. I think that's a very big need for whoever's quarterback next year.
Yeah.
There's a couple good pitches that Missouri could have as well. Just, of course, you always kind of go to the track record of nasty wideouts and Jacob Peeler and the recent success. You have a second rounder who's producing a lot right now as a rookie in the NFL, and Luther Burden, the third. Don't forget, he's the third. But besides that, I mean, you could probably pitch, if you get your quarterback beforehand, there's probably going to be a lot of intrigue for that. If Matt Zollers has a great Taxslayer Gator Bowl through the air, that could be another good pitch. I mean, there's still a lot that Missouri has to offer in that category that could entice some good receivers to be interested. And I mean, Missouri will probably focus a good amount of its NIL in that category as well.
Believe it or not, I think I put DK Metcalf in the NFL can still hold water for a couple more years at least. Before he calls it quits, before we age out of that and he has to move on to, I put Luther Burden in the NFL. We'll see. Guess what? I have a name from the portal. Purdue wide receiver and Festus, Missouri native Armand Branch. That's my one name.
Does he have any stats?
You know what? I admittedly didn't look. I was kind of just hoping that there was someone from the state of Missouri so I could keep the streak going. But let me just keep talking as I press Command C and Command V. He had 14 catches, 212 yards, and 2 touchdowns last year. Not the most spectacular numbers.
That would make him probably in the top 4 or 5 most productive receivers Mizzou had this season.
Yeah.
So
probably not the swing guy you're maybe hoping to take.
Editor's note. I said earlier that Jake Crawford from Auburn was SEC Freshman of the Year. I got it mixed up. I had the Thamel tweet here. He earned Freshman All-America honors in 2024. He was not SEC Freshman of the Year.
Thank you for that. We value integrity and upstanding reporting on this podcast. Any other positions, things you want to throw out there briefly for this Mizzou transfer portal?
Linebacker, defensive end. I mean, they could both get looked at it in the sense of if either of those guys, Josiah Trotter or Damon Wilson, to the portal. I do like where the defensive end room is, but I wouldn't like put it past Missouri to find another kind of young guy to put in that room too. Darius Smith really took a step forward. Or I wouldn't say take a step forward. We got to actually see Darius Smith play. I thought we'd see a lot more of Nate Johnson.
He took steps on the field. He stepped on the field.
He was still very. It was a good year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
it was a good year, especially as a third guy in the room. When you lose Hilson, I do kind of wonder where the trajectory. Oh yeah, spoiler. We're going to talk about that in quick hits. I wonder where the trajectory of the room is in the sense of, they're going to go after another guy. They offered an Iowa State, former Iowa State signee who's looking like he might lean towards Penn State, of course, because there's those connections there with Campbell leaving for the Nittany Lions. But I think they might go after a younger guy, try to bring someone in the room. They did that. They tried to do it in the spring portal, didn't find a guy that they could get, and I wonder if they'll try to do it again.
Yeah, I mean, a pipeline is a pipeline for a reason.
Do you mean Trotter and Wilson going to the draft? Because you said portal.
Yeah, sorry, go into the draft.
That would be quite the gut punch. That would
open
some eyes.
That would be a tough one.
I do kind of agree with Edge because, losing your top two guys that were that productive kind of leaves a black hole. You would almost certainly have to actually moneyball it next year. There's no way you're replacing Zion Young and Damon Wilson in one offseason, I would think. Although I did say that about Darius Robinson and Johnny Walker. Granted, Johnny Walker didn't leave with Darius Robinson, but I didn't think they'd come close to matching that. And Johnny Walker and Zion Young did an admirable job. Then they lose Johnny Walker, and I say, well, there's no way they can replace that. Then they just had the best pass rush they've had, I think, probably under Drinkwitz. So I won't doubt Brian Early there. I think he'll have a plan. It's all Brian Early's doing, by the way. I don't know of any other coach that would be responsible for that. Kevin Peoples was just a proxy guy. Brian Early was really the puppet master. But I also want to throw in interior D-line. You're losing McClellan. That means you're probably sliding Gracial up to kind of the top of the D tackle depth chart. I think he's a great run stuffer. I do think he has been a very valuable contributor there, but I don't know if I quite see the juice as a pass rusher there to make me feel really confident. Again, McClellan was a blessing because he did everything pretty well. But that's going to be something where, like in 23, Mizzou had 4 legit good D tackles in their own respect in Jernigan, Landry, George, and who am I forgetting, Kenny? Help me out here. Jernigan, Landry, George. There was another
Christian
one.
Williams.
Yes, Christian Williams. Thank you. Those 4 were great. So you kind of got to, again, I think rotating in there is a good strategy. They do have Jalen Marshall. He saw the field a good amount this year. He made a heroic play on Caden Proctor. They have Sam Williams, who that surprise flip a few years ago out of nowhere, who still is around. So I think that's certainly something to keep an eye on. But I wouldn't mind seeing them grab one more body there. And I'll also throw in, you can never have too many offensive linemen. I'm always a fan of creating competition there.
That was the other position I was going to bring if DB got taken, was offensive line.
Yeah, Drinkwitz had the quote about Jamal Roberts. If they're unfortunate enough to lose Jamal Roberts, I think you got to get someone there because, then you drop to Tavoris Jones. Tavoris Jones isn't out of eligibility, is he?
He has 1 year left.
Yeah,
I think you're getting someone at running back either way.
You think so?
If you lose Roberts.
You have to.
If you don't get Deontay Sheffy, who they offered in the 2026 class.
When they convert Maxwell Warner to safety, like we on the unwritten rule always intended.
He's got juice at safety.
Yeah, offensive line was the other position I brought. Obviously you have a kind of a swing guy, I think, in Caden Green still, whether he goes draft or not. He would be a big returner if he does come back, and that would I think mean I wrote it down. I think you'd have 3 of your starters back in Jadis Green and Peagler. So that would change things a lot depending on what his decision is. So there you go. Some portal stuff. And we loosely got the Drinkwitz, some of the Drinkwitz comments in there as well. If you shop at Louis Vuitton, folks, you can't get 105 bags. I just wanted to say that on the podcast. That was one quote. I have more on that, but I'm going to save it because I think it's sort of prevalent to what Kenny was bringing up earlier with how he was talking about the state of college football. I have a bunch of thoughts there with what he said, but it's sort of kind of constantly relevant. So I'll save it for another time because I don't think any of this is going to change anytime soon, which is not good. Let's go to quick hits, fellas, and touch more on some of the departures for Mizzou football. We will be right back. Okay, welcome to a very grim edition of Quick Hits, where we will be discussing Mizzou and Mizzou-affiliated people leaving their Mizzou and Mizzou affiliates. With that said, Payton, just kidding. Kenny, I don't know why.
We've been doing this for 5 years, dog.
I don't know. Sorry, I was watching a video of a guy getting a haircut. I got distracted. Kenny, what's your jersey of the week?
You saw clips of it. I was the one watching.
That was one of the funniest things Jack has ever said.
That's pretty good, Jack. Well, Jets head coach Aaron Glenn this week announced the firing of defensive coordinator Steve Wilkes. We did point out that when Brady Cook made his NFL debut, the defensive coordinator in that game, Jaguars Jaguars scored a lot of points on the Jets, and it wasn't the best performance either from Brady Cook. There was some more interceptions in that game. But Steve Wilkes is no longer with him. It feels like they weren't together very long in 2021 when Brady Cook was a starter, and you could say the same thing in 2025. That's the year right now.
Say what you will about Steve Wilkes as a defensive coordinator and Brady Cook as a quarterback, but you can't deny that when they're together on the same team, it is some of the most forgettable, horrible football you'll ever watch. The 2021 Missouri Tigers and the 2025 New York Jets, two teams that everyone just going to want to forget about.
I was going to say, I felt like I was watching, and I was on the other side of it this time because I had Trevor Lawrence on a fantasy team, so I was actually cheering, but I felt like I was watching the Tennessee game all over again, which is touchdown after touchdown after touchdown against the Jets.
I could write a 10-page essay on why that's one of the worst games I've ever been at. It was an 11 a.m. kick. It was dreary. The weather.
I found out I had COVID that game. During that game.
What happened?
I found out I had COVID during that game.
Oh, lovely. Were you there with me? I don't think you were.
No. Wait. No, I'm sorry. I have the year wrong. Scratch that from the record.
I was going to say, wrong did you
never
really? Because I don't remember this.
No, never mind.
No, that game sucked. It was horrible. I mean, like Tennessee's running back, whoever it was at the time, I don't even remember who, he said in the week leading up, we watched film, we're going to have some fun. And he proceeded to prove that completely right. I think he had 4 touchdowns in that game. I don't remember who it is. I'm not even going to look it up. I just want to forget that game forever.
Yeah. Sorry, Steve Wilkes. Kenny, your jersey of the week. Did I just do it again? I don't know what's happening.
I guess my jersey will go to.
No, I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I don't know
mine.
what's happening. I'll just leave now. Payton, your jersey of the week. Jesus.
My jersey of the week is going to go to several people. It's going to go to Josh Manning. It's going to go to Javion Hilson. It's going to go to Henry Fanuku. And not pictured here, it's going to go to Marquise Johnson. 4 defections to the portal since we last spoke. Again, this isn't that
5.
surprising. I will say, wait, what did you say? It was 5?
It's 5.
Oh yeah, Pribula too. Of course. Fanuku was the one that really shocked me. I remember hearing a lot of good things about him. That's one that hurts. I'd like to keep all the offensive linemen in the fold that you can. I think that's a good developmental position. It sucks. I mean, he wasn't even one it seemed like they went in late and dropped a bag for. It seemed like he was just one of like a classic commitment. Manning also surprised me a little, just because he was a starter by the end of the year. I'm very surprised he's not at least playing in the bowl game. That's a shame. I did like Josh Manning. It didn't seem like he was like a great athlete or anything, but like just a decently solid receiver, a good blocker on the outside, which is super valuable for the offense that Mizzou runs. But I mean, good luck to him. I mean, Marquise Johnson, that one has just been brewing it. I think he lost his starting job by the end of the year. That was just like a straight change of scenery, like is good for everyone. Not surprised there. Javion Hilson, kind of the same deal as a lot of the guys last year, I think, like Crutchfield, guys like Marquise Davis this year, Keywan Lacey last year. It was just a guy that had no buzz up until the last minute, and he signed with Mizzou, and he really didn't even get on the field at all this year, even in like any of the garbage time games. Just not one that I think is unexpected at all. If I'm not mistaken, I think Dayton Hopkins actually left him on the depth chart, which is intriguing to me. But yeah, there you go. One thing about having the portal pushed back to January 2nd is we're going to get all the bad news in December, but we should be getting a good amount of good news in January, hopefully.
That's a good point. Yeah, I think Drinkwitz even, felt like he was kind of alluding to that in his remarks with guys like Hilson of these sort of late surge flip miss kind of commits that have happened, haven't really worked out. And I wonder if it seems like Mizzou might try and go away from some of that, just with these guys not sticking it out or Missouri not having enough money to pay them to stick it out, and they go elsewhere. Cause yeah, this is a pattern now with some of these, these high ranking recruits that arrive late, even some of them that don't, but then depart because for, a multitude of reasons, money being one of them. So there you have it. My jersey of the week, Kenny, I'm just kidding. My jersey of the week is going to go to Toriano Pride. There's some kind of good news. He accepted an invite to the Hula Bowl. So good for Toriano Pride. January 10th is the date of the game. Good season. We talked about it during the transfer portal segment. Kind of really came on strong here last year. 23 tackles, 4 PDs, 1 pick for Mr. Toriano. So hopefully this is a good opportunity to get him to showcase his skills, get some NFL buzz or pro buzz, wherever that may be. He's a good player. I was glad to see him, kind of start to fulfill some of that potential after coming over from Clemson.
Agreed. Like you just said, and Kenny mentioned earlier in the episode, I mean, he surged really late into his career. I mean, he was always a playmaker, but he just played like a more sound game all around towards the end of his career. So happy that he gets that opportunity. Also, I don't think we've mentioned that. I think this has happened since our last episode, but Chris McClellan is also going to one of these bowls. He's going to the Senior Bowl.
Yes, very good news.
Brady Cook played in this one last year. It's not really not a pushover bowl. I mean, guys from this one make it to the NFL. So
isn't this the one Mevis played in as well, like a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Hula Bowl. Yeah. Missouri makes its money in the Hula Bowl.
Or he was committed to the Hula Bowl. He didn't go to the Hula Bowl. He went to the Shrine Bowl.
Yeah, there's a couple of those.
So he was committed to the Hula Bowl. I remember us talking about that, and then he ended up not going to it because he went to the East-West Shrine Bowl instead. I'm pretty sure.
You might be right.
Committed to the Hula Bowl is funny. I am announcing my commitment to the Hula Bowl.
I like no cap, and he's the main bird.
Shawnee's main bird of the week. Penny.
Me? Oh,
don't do this. Don't die. I have it correct. I will not be gaslit in this way.
All right. My Shawnee's main bird of the week goes to Ahmad Hardy. He was a Warhawk last year, so there's your bird connection. I feel like we've beat that one home for everyone that doesn't know it already.
That's
He was
another good Ken Sports Shorts you should do sometimes. Sorry to interrupt you, Kenny. Is our most used bird connections of all time.
Mhm.
You have to go back and listen to every quick hits. I think
Good luck researching.
you'll love that.
So Ahmad Hardy is a consensus All-American. He wasn't unanimous because he was named a second teamer by FWCA. Is that right?
Who cares? That's ridiculous.
Is
That-
the
Is it
Football
FFW?
Football Writers Association? That one?
It's FWAA was the last
Football
one.
Writers Association
Named
of
a
America.
second teamer.
I
My
never liked
God.
their publication anyway.
So he was a first teamer on Walter Camp, Sporting News, the AP, and AFCA. So I was interested by this, you guys, because he would have been unanimous if he had gotten all 5. He would have been the third Missouri Tiger. Had to be Eli Hoff for finding that one out to be named a unanimous All-American. Do you guys want to guess like who are the other like first teamers for FWAA for running back?
Oh, who they picked instead
I
of
know
him?
who it is because I
So-
had it. I saw
Okay,
it,
I'll give
and
it.
it's
I'll give it a try.
ridiculous.
So is it Love? I assume Jeremiah Love is one of them. Or how many are there? 3, 2?
There's 2.
Love and the kid from Nebraska.
Nope.
Oh, it's Lacey.
Juan Lacey.
Wow.
That is horrible. I'm sorry. That is pure team results weighing in on that. That is a horrible pick. I that sucks.
Yeah,
There
that's
is
just
no
objectively
reason
not.
Ahmad Hardy is not unanimous right now.
That's just objectively not the right pick. I mean, Kawan Lacey was second in like every category in his own conference. So
Kawan Lacey is a great back.
He's great.
If I was a Heisman voter, he would have been on my top 10. But
You only get
that
3
is
votes.
horrible. What did you say?
You only
Said you
get 3 votes.
Oh, well, I thought you listed out your top 10. Never mind then. Sorry.
It
keep
goes
on
to
moving.
10 because of the other people
who
who are-
votes. Yeah.
Right. I always
voting.
just thought you filled out 10. You're right. You're correct then.
Payton no longer. Payton's. You just crushed his dream. He like wanted to be a Heisman voter. and
Well,
ranked
he
10 best
stole
players.
the unanimous All-American status for Hardy, so I'm sure he'll be okay. Anyways, my bird of the week is going to be Brady Cook again because he was named
No,
the
I like no
starting
cap, and
quarterback
he's the
for the
main
Jets
bird.
once again. I believe that one of Taylor or Fields is healthy. I didn't see which, but Jets are out of it anyways, so they're just going to keep giving Brady Cook an opportunity. If you're looking for a bird connection, Brady Cook in that Armed Forces Bowl took over for starting quarterback Connor Bazelak. Bazelak was sent to the bench for Cook. Bazelak, of course, later went on to play for the Bowling Green Falcons. So there's your connection. And yeah, Brady Cook, he'll get another opportunity at it. Aaron Glenn, the head coach, he said, I think he deserves an opportunity to do it. If you're watching on the YouTube, you can see that's the quote the Jets chose. And I think now we can fully say that the 2021 Armed Forces Bowl has been avenged. The same week, Wilkes is shown the door. Brady Cook is named the full-time starter. History is repeating itself in New York. They took the Missouri Tigers model. Hopefully there's a Martez Manuel equivalent saying first you lose big, then you lose small. Big things. I wonder what their Cotton Bowl equivalent is going to be for the New York Jets.
Like the AFC divisional game.
Yeah.
Or making the playoffs. That's probably their. Just because they have the longest streak in sports, right?
I think it is now.
It's crazy how Connor Bazelak could be in the college football playoff right now if he just stuck it out before he went to Bowling Green.
I was looking at that because that did make me like interested in this. The quarterback history at Indiana, like the last 4 or 5 years, is awesome. Like it is. You have a first rounder who transfers to Washington.
Yep.
And then you have Connor Bazelak, the 2020 SEC quarterback or SEC
Freshman of the year.
Freshman of the year.
It was someone from Bama, right? That I thought was really good, but now I can't remember. So
They had Brendan Sorsby starting games for them for a bit.
Mm-hmm. And you had Curtis Rourke in here too last year. Brendan Sorsby was in 2023. And then you have the Heisman winner. I mean, what a run on quarterbacks for Indiana.
You don't get to Mendoza without Bazelak.
Yeah, Connor Bazelak walks, so Fernando Mendoza could win the Heisman Trophy. Never forget that. My main bird of the week is going to Jacob Cruz. Jacob Cruz, of course, Bird Connection, the former UT Martin Skyhawk. This is just me liking to look at graphics of college basketball stats. He is second in three-point percentage among players who have hit at least 35 threes. He's made 37 in 12 games, 52.5 or 52.9% from three. That is only behind Josh Pasquarelli, who I think is pretty good for Colorado State. I think that guy's like, I think he's their best player. I mean, I guess you'd think that he'd be shooting that well from three.
Last time Missouri took a run at
Junior
Colorado
guard
State.
from Colorado State.
God, he will be a great All-American at Wisconsin in 2 years.
Makes me think.
Jacob Cruz can shoot the cover off the ball.
Look at Nihal Pack on this damn list. Jeez.
Two guys from Tech. Braden Shrewsbury too from Notre Dame. Shout out to Sobel. Oh, and everyone's favorite 6'7" forward Tyler Nickel from Vanderbilt's also here. So there you go.
Yeah, I think I saw another one of those lists in and ones, and I think Mark Mitchell was at.
Yeah, you probably did because I sent that to you.
Thanks.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Sorry, I was distracted. I was watching a video of a guy getting a haircut.
And he's gone. Payton, you want to share what you learned this week?
Best thing I learned this week, for the fourth time this year, Cody Schrader has a new home. The Broncos claimed Cody Schrader off waivers from Houston. So he is in the same backfield as Tyler Bidet. Sorry, he does that. Tyler Bidet. So there you go. You have two of the three leading rushers all time at Missouri in a single season, I believe. Did Hardy wind up? How many yards does Hardy need to break Schrader's record?
I can look it up real quick, but he didn't break it.
I know he didn't break it, but he has the bowl game to potentially break it.
I thought it was like 260 something, like going into Arkansas.
And he had a lot in that game.
He did have a lot in that game. So maybe it's doable.
Yeah. So Schrader and Bidet in the same backfield. It's very, very cool for Mizzou to say. I think we know where Ahmad Hardy's next landing spot is going to be. Also, another Armed Forces Bowl tie-in. We're mentioning that a lot.
I mean, it's just the AFC West in general because Larry Roundtree was on the Chargers for a while. So maybe Ahmad Hardy will go to the Raiders.
What was your tie-in, Payton? I didn't hear you.
There's no tie-in. It's best thing I learned. But it does somewhat tie into the Armed Forces Bowl.
That's what I was asking. Okay. Ahmad Hardy is at 1,560. Tyler Bidet, 1,604. Cody Schrader, 1,627.
So he needs 70-something. Because you said 550?
He needs 68.
68. Oh, he should get that.
So close. So close.
Get that, no problem.
So close to.
We move
on. Kenny, what'd you learn?
Best thing I learned this week. I thought it was pretty cool. Really talk about other schools. I know we've been trying to talk a little bit more about national stuff as well, and I guess you'll get to that in a second.
I got that.
Got it. National podcast. LaDamian Washington as the next wide receivers coach for Ole Miss, the former Missouri wide receiver. He's been around the SEC a little bit. He was on Oklahoma staff. He was on Kentucky staff. Now he's joining an Oklahoma staff that's trying to keep things moving.
So I don't know if this goes into our history repeating itself theme, but Jacob Peeler, Ole Miss, ended up at Missouri. LaDamian Washington. I don't know.
Yeah, Jacob Peeler didn't play wide receiver for this.
I know, but that's like, it was, it's like a more of a circle instead of a straight, but you have a little, whatever. I tried. This is cool. Exciting for LaDamian Washington. And maybe he's going to try and poach some receiver recruits. Him and Peeler be battling head to head for.
No.
Fair enough. Peeler's got some years on him. All right. The best thing I learned this week, I had to throw some NFL drama into our otherwise Mizzou filled podcast and and supplement our sad transfer news with some tea out of the old Cincinnati Bengals, folks. I don't know how much of an opinion you guys have on this, but it was kind of interesting. The headline from ESPN, if you're not watching on the YouTube, it's about Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow on Future with the Bengals says crazy things can happen. The Bengals stink. They're going to miss the playoffs for the third, fourth season in a row. And I don't know. It was just kind of wild to me to picture the potential of him not on the team next year. So that was kind of the best thing I learned. It was just dramatic. I was doing something. Where would you guys like to see Joe Burrow end up if he demanded a trade?
Saints.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's
a good
great
one.
answer. I'd like to see him in Houston. Honestly, I think that could be a good landing spot. Maybe Tennessee. He can be an Oiler.
Yeah.
If Cam Ward doesn't work out, no, I'm kidding. I don't know. I don't really want to see him leave. I mean, it just would be very strange. It's just weird vibes in Cincinnati in general. It's just been a definite slog for them the last couple of years.
Yeah, I just think it's so wild to think like you tell ourselves in 2022 when they're playing in that Super Bowl that, hey, their quarterback, might be fielding questions about leaving or doing the Andrew Luck thing and not playing anymore. Like how wild it's kind of turned bad. It's ugly in Cincinnati right now. I should have made my best beat of the week. The Bengals. Oh, look at that. I just checked our doc. Speaking of the Bengals, we've got best beats of the week. Payton, well done. Well done double time because you were the only one that hit last week. What do you have to say for yourself? Look at
first
you.
of all,
you're what, 7 of your last 8 you've hit for the season.
First of all, don't write off Josh Allen until there's triple zeros on the clock. Yes, they were down 21-0, but I never felt bad about that pick. I believed in the Bills every step of the way. Second of all, my pick this week is going to be the Bengals by 4.5 over the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins have made a switch. Also in that Joe Burrow class was Tua Tagovailoa, the embattled Miami Dolphin starter, who has been straight up shown the bench by Mike McDaniel after a just awful performance against the Steelers on Monday Night Football. They're turning to Quinn Ewers, the rookie 7th rounder. That is why I'm going to take the Bengals. I don't think the Bengals are any good, but I think they are going to be 5 points better than Quinn Ewers will be.
This is it's a very comfortable pick from you. It's somehow not the most comfortable pick of the 3 on this board, to which I will let our other esteemed colleague, explain his.
I'm going to take Texans minus 14.5 against the Raiders. Last week I took Texans.
This shouldn't be allowed.
I took Cardinals minus 9 or plus 9.5 against the Texans. The Texans scored twice within 3 minutes and had the ball back when they were facing the Cardinals. The offense got going and figured it out. I looked this up. I didn't look it up. I found a tweet about it. The Raiders are tied for the least amount of players on IR. They are the worst team in football, and I don't think there's really much of a conversation about it right now. It's just not been a good year for the Raiders.
Do you think it's Pete Carroll or a clone?
Is there a? Do people actually think
there
it's a
thing going around about that it's not really him or something? I thought I saw that somewhere.
I don't know, but I mean, I wouldn't want to see him right now. Maybe I would.
I think it popped up in between videos of guys getting haircuts when I was watching my feed. So I don't know, man.
Okay. Texans minus 14.5 against Raiders at home.
Yeah, nice, man.
You're almost able to fill in that blue box up there too about the playoffs. The Texans are pretty damn close.
Taking a clinch. I'm cheering for the Raiders so hard now. I hope they lose by 12 or lose by 12. Just for this.
Why don't they just lose by 14?
Well, because I don't know. It's closer. My pick, I'm going to the NFC South. That division is terrible. I'm going to take the Panthers plus 3 against the Buccaneers. I don't feel great about it, but I wanted to pick a game that actually is kind of meaningful. And I want that division to be a loser fest so that one of them finishes 7-10 and makes the playoffs as the 4 seed. I think that would be great for everybody. So I'm going to go with the Panthers. I think they're better than the Buccaneers. I think we're talking about Baker Mayfield as an MVP 6 weeks ago, and it has just fallen off the rails. I believe in Bryce Young. So I'll go Carolina to cover. And screw the Packers, by the way, who have messed up my last 2 bets.
You should take them this weekend.
Well, no Luther Burden.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No Luther Burden. So that could get hairy for.
This one comes from our favorite TV series, The Today Show. Guys, did you hear about the claustrophobic astronaut?
He ran out of space.
He
was muted. Oh,
much
no!
on it. Pretty much on it. Did you hear about the claustrophobic astronaut? He needed a little space. Needed a little space.
Why did you get so? Why did you get?
Because you said what I was going to say, and then I felt bad that I was wrong.
Okay, that's what I figured.
It's okay, Kenny.
You'll get it next time. All right, that'll do it for the unwritten rule. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Me and Payton on Monday will have a preview of the Illinois game, which we're really excited to do. I know we're really excited to talk about that game and then recap that game after that happens. Really excited. Go watch some videos of guys getting haircuts. See you next time.